The boat approached Ganryujima slowly. The sound of water striking the hull was the only thing breaking the silence of the morning. On the shore, Sasaki Kojiro was already waiting, tall, confident, renowned. His name carried weight across Japan. His technique, Tsubame Gaishi, was feared for its speed and finality, a strike designed to end a fight before the opponent even understood what went wrong. He arrived on time, prepared, certain. Miyamoto Musashi did not. The sun continued to rise. Minutes passed. What began as a delay became a statement. In the world of the samurai, punctuality was honor. Absence was insult. Musashi's delay was not carelessness. It was intention. Kojiro felt it. His disciples felt it. This was no longer just a duel between two men, but a public confrontation between reputations, schools, and legacies. With every passing moment, Kojiro's composure eroded, even if he did not yet realize it. When Musashi finally appeared, he did not arrive as a legend. He stepped off the boat wearing simple clothing, almost careless in appearance. In his hands was not a finely forged katana, but a rough wooden sword, carved from an oar during the crossing. An improvised weapon, a deliberate choice. Kojiro was enraged. He tore the scabbard from his sword and threw it aside, declaring he would no longer need it. Musashi watched silently and replied coldly, "Then you have already lost." The fight lasted only moments, a sudden advance, a single strike. Sasaki Kojiro's skull was crushed. His body collapsed onto the sand. The most famous swordsman of his generation lay dead, defeated by a wooden blade, by a man who had arrived late on purpose. Musashi turned and walked away without celebration, without claiming victory, without looking back. But to understand how this was possible, and why this duel was far more than a clash of blades, we must return to the beginning, long before the island, long before the reputation, before Miyamoto Musashi was a name, a myth, or a symbol, when he was simply a boy born into a Japan consumed by war. Musashi was born around 1584, during an era where conflict was constant and peace was fragile. The sword was not philosophy, it was necessity. Death was not exceptional, it was routine. At around 13 years old, Musashi fought his first real duel. Not training, not ritual, but combat to the death. He survived. That victory did not crown him a hero. It merely set him on a path from which there would be no return. After the Battle of Sekigahara, as the Tokugawa shogunate consolidated power, countless samurai lost their lords. They became ronin, armed men without allegiance, without direction. Musashi was one of them. But unlike most, he did not seek a new master. He did not pursue comfort or security. He chose to wander. For years, Musashi traveled across Japan, challenging fencing schools, renowned masters, and experienced warriors, not for spectacle, not for fame. These were real duels, often brutal, where a single mistake meant death. In many of these encounters, Musashi did not win through elegance. He won through perception, through emotional control, through understanding his opponent better than the opponent understood himself. He broke rules. He fought with two swords when tradition demanded one. He attacked from angles considered dishonorable. He dismissed formalities when they interfered with effectiveness. Because of this, he was not admired. He was tolerated when victorious, despised when humiliating, and feared almost always. Musashi did not embody the romantic ideal of the samurai. He embodied something far more unsettling: victory without illusion. Over time, Musashi began to understand that defeating men was not the final stage of the path. The true enemy did not wield a sword. It lived in attachment to methods, to ego, to rigid ways of thinking. He gradually withdrew from duels, not out of weakness, but clarity. He refined his style, Niten Ichi-ryu. He painted, he sculpted, he wrote. He lived simply, almost ascetically. And eventually, the path led back to Genryujima. Now the duel made sense. Sasaki Kojiro did not lose because Musashi was stronger. He lost because Musashi was no longer fighting only with the body. He fought with time, with expectation, with the opponent's ego, with the environment itself. Kojiro entered the field, needing to prove something. Musashi entered only to finish it. After the duel, Musashi withdrew further from public life. In his final years, ill and isolated, he retreated to a cave called Reigando. There, he wrote the Book of Five Rings, not as a motivational guide, not as comforting philosophy, but as a blunt treatise on strategy, perception, detachment, and death. He wrote as someone who had won and lost enough to no longer deceive himself. Musashi died in 1645, seated upright, armed, fully aware, without official glory, without celebration in life. For centuries, his name remained confined to specific circles. He was not turned into a national hero, not a popular symbol. Ironically, it is in modernity that Miyamoto Musashi has been rediscovered. Not by the feudal world, but by a modern one that feels lost again. His legacy grows, especially through contemporary interpretations like the manga Vagabond, which portrays him as introspective, fractured, and philosophical. There is romanticization, there is exaggeration, there is distortion, but there is also something genuine. A search for what Musashi represents. A man who did not belong, and survived precisely because of it. Musashi was not great because he was honorable. He was great because he was lucid. He did not win by following the correct path, but by recognizing when the path itself was an illusion. And perhaps that is why, centuries later, he continues to disturb, inspire, and resurface. Because in a world obsessed with appearances, Miyamoto Musashi remains the uncomfortable reminder that truth is rarely beautiful, but it is almost always effective.